Hi there, and welcome back to my garden. It is Sunday, the 7th of September here. That's how far I'm behind with uploading. Yeah. So today we had the first day that really felt like autumn. It was foggy quite far into the morning, like 11 o'clock. The fog was finally lifting. Now it's a glorious sunshiny day, really warm for September with 20 degrees and sunny, no rain for a change. And we are looking at some parts of the experiment where I was checking how late I can get away with planting potatoes. So the first two buckets over there, these two, they're dead. These two are still growing. So the first ones that I planted in June, end of June, those are ready to harvest. The next ones that I was planting in the beginning of July, they are still growing. There's probably not much happening in the pots, but I'm behind with harvesting anyways, so they will stay in the soil for a bit longer. Then this plant over here, it's one of the spring planted ones, so just ignore that one. And these over here are actually in order with the oldest ones planted over there and the last ones planted over here, which is quite surprising. But the three pots here, these three, I was planting them in the middle of July to the end of July. And when they were just breaking through the soil, we had a rainy period where lots of things got some kind of fungus and they were struggling. The ones that were planted late came up mostly after that time. So they were just happily growing along. They have some signs of, who knows. They're not really happy, but not much is happening in the end of summer, early autumn here. So temperatures are getting lower. It's ridiculously wet. The soil doesn't dry out at all. I haven't watered these in like ages. Just the rain is enough, and that it's not too warm. So we'll see when I will be harvesting these ones. These squash plants, these zucchinis, are still going, even though they are a bit smushed by the raspberry hedge flopping over. So I will have to find a solution for next year. I cut back like a meter behind the squash beds, but the raspberries are just like weeds here. They are taking over, and from cutting back a meter behind the squash beds, it just grew back within a year and is again laying over on my zucchini plants. So I might do some kind of fence towards the bed so they're not shading out the other plants. And in the middle of everything, you can see this big shadow from the roof. it's about lunchtime. I'm not sure what time it is exactly. Probably around, yeah, shortly past 12 o'clock. And that's the sunshine I get in the beds behind the house right now. So in the morning, the sun rises somewhere over here, so it gets some morning sunshine, and then the shadow of the house is covering half the beds already. So the sun is really not rising that much anymore, and it's getting worse, of course. So what I'm doing here, that's all the weeds that sprouted since I was harvesting the Jessie potatoes here. And I just dug through the other bed, and I wanted to show you what I'm doing to prepare the beds for planting probably walking onions and garlic here in the fall. So the weeds are taking over. I would have to do something here, either weeding or just digging them into the soil, or I would have to start out with an overgrown bed in the spring, which is it bothers me if that happens, so I rather do that in autumn now or in late summer. And what I did here was adding some charcoal from the fire pit. The big chunks, I'm not worried about them because we get frosts here. Things will have water and moisture in them, which means that frost breaks them apart into manageable size. So that's all fine. So I'm putting a little layer of that on here. And then I'm using this one. It's a bucket of chicken poop with pine shavings from the coop. And one of these buckets goes on one of those beds. So I already incorporated one here. You can see some of the wood shavings. But I just put it on the bed, distribute it with a rake so it's evenly distributed, and then I go through and dig through the whole bed again, take out any grass roots that I missed the last time. Maybe I might find a potato, who knows, it's possible, and dig in the wood shavings with the chicken poop. And then it gets probably another 4 weeks of rest before I'm going to plant some garlic here, or it will rest until next spring. The charcoal will take up some of the nutrients. The worms will take care of the wood shavings, and it will just happily marinate until next spring, until planting season is starting. And hopefully I'm not running out of steam, because there's still potatoes in here. Yeah, I didn't get around to harvest them yet. So hopefully I will get that done today, because the deer are already finding some potatoes over there right at my shadow. There's two potatoes that have been dug up by a deer, not eaten, but it's digging around in my soil. I don't know why. So better safe than sorry. Get that out of the ground. And yeah, I'm emptying pots with marigolds and other things and dumping them on the compost heap and drying the pots before storage, it's the perfect day to do that today. If you get them stored away dry, those kind of buckets will last quite a bit longer than if you store them wet. So yeah, that's the plan for today. We'll see how far I get. I don't think I will accomplish everything today, but I'll make an attempt. So thanks for watching. Happy gardening. And yeah, see you next time with more potato reveals. Bye!